It's Matthew Brown with the Open Booth, and we've got a new episode right here at a new location, and well, let's step into the booth. All right, welcome.
Thank you, Matthew. Good morning.
So, yeah, obviously I'm Matthew Brown, the host, but Colin, tell me something. Well, who are you?
I'm Colin Chapman. I'm a comedian and hypnotist. I do clinical hypnosis. I do some stand-up, and I also do the Comedy Hypnosis is Amazing show, which is a comedy show that uses stand-up, crowd work, and hypnosis to deliver the laughs.
All right, so before you go into a commercial, so I don't know if have you ever seen any of my other interviews?
Yes.
Okay. So I like to kind of start with, there's a few things I usually start with. Well, one of them is, how do we know each other?
We got to know each other initially through 212.
212
which
is a networking group in Richmond, Virginia.
Yes, absolutely.
But also now across the country apparently
Yes.
too. So.
Yes.
And that's, I find it interesting, like, you know, words have meaning. So 212, the founder of it, he wanted it to be, what is it, the temperature of boiling water is like 211, and then so like 1 degree more is 212.
Yes, exactly.
So it's interesting that, you know, like people choose to do things, their words have meaning.
They do have meaning.
And so like multiple meanings of things like that. So Colin, so we met at networking, which I
Yes.
do a lot of in
Yes.
Richmond. Do you do a lot of networking?
I do a lot of networking. As a matter of fact, last time we saw each other was at another networking meeting. Okay, and it's like networking is something that you get to. I expose a lie about me.
You expose a lie about you?
Yep. Because
Okay.
here's the truth. I go out there to networking meetings, which you've seen me at before. I'm not standing up against the wall hoping somebody is going to come talk to me.
Okay.
I'm walking right up to people, introducing myself,
Right.
which is a lie. That's not who I really am.
Okay.
I really am an introvert who is going to be better off hiding out at home with my dog
Okay.
rather than putting myself out there. Thing is, everything I love, everything I care about, I actually have to do the uncomfortable and be comfortable with doing the uncomfortable. And so I go out there and I do the networking.
You said you'd rather be home with your dog. What kind of dog do you have?
So my dog is a boxer mix.
Okay.
She's a rescue.
How old?
She's 10 years old. She is not the smartest creature on the planet, but she's the sweetest.
Can dogs be hypnotized?
In a way, yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I
can do it with the dog, like you hold the treat.
What you're doing is with a combination of touch, tone of voice, and repetition. You can get them to change their state, just like you can with people.
Well, so that brings me to my kind of second thing that I kind of start a lot of things with is, and you said it, but I'll play on the words, change of state. Have you always been a Virginia native, or did you move from?
No. I originally went to school in Topeka, Kansas.
So you grew up in Topeka, Kansas.
Grew up in Topeka, Kansas.
Did you experience any tornadoes or anything?
Every single year.
Every single year.
I saw one, not on TV, my own two eyes.
Okay.
Okay.
Was it like The Wizard of Oz?
I was forced to watch The Wizard of Oz.
You were
937 times as
Was it
part
played
of
in
my
school?
duty. Everywhere. It's considered to be my loyal duty as a patriotic Kansan to watch The Wizard of Oz.
This is something I didn't know. Maybe our viewers, maybe we have some in Kansas that know this.
And so I came to, it's kind of like broccoli growing up.
Okay,
It's like
you have to eat it.
you have to eat it, and you don't really enjoy eating it. And then you grow up and you realize, you know what, I'm an adult now. I don't have to eat it now. What I can do though is I can actually cook it how I want.
Okay.
And so now I eat broccoli.
Speaking of cook it how you want, have you seen like the out in Las Vegas? Like the year right now is 2025. In Vegas, they have that big sphere,
Yes, yes.
and they've adapted the Wizard of Oz to be able to play in the sphere. So
Yes.
like they've morphed it and used AI and all
Yes.
these other things like this. And I've never been there, but I've seen like the behind the scenes stuff, and it looks fascinating. Like the way they like made it so immersive. I mean, the film at the time was like immersive. Like there was no film that was like that, you know. A lot of people mistakenly think that was the first color film, but it wasn't.
No.
And it's interesting, even that scene where the door opens and Dorothy goes from black and white to color. It's actually all shot in color, but all the behind the scenes stuff, they had like a stand-in for Dorothy who was all in sepia tone clothing and makeup and everything like that, so that like it looked like it was transitioning, but it was actually shot in color, which I find fascinating.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a fascinating movie because it was groundbreaking in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Did some storytelling in some different ways. Used metaphor in some different ways.
So Kansas, what, like, tell me about your like growing up in Kansas. What was that like? Were you like the white picket fence kind of family, or were you like on a farm, or what was it like?
So interestingly enough to you, my grandparents owned a photography studio. Early on, my dad worked for Xerox as a tech rep, and then about the point that I was in what we back then in the olden days called junior high. My mom and dad became part of the studio and ultimately took it over for a while. And I got a lot of experience doing wedding photography with them. I was given a Yashica Mat camera, which had a roll of film. Once again, one more thing these Gen Z types have no clue about.
It had either 12, 24,
it had 12.
36 exposures.
This had 12. And what I got paid for going to these weddings was based on what the couple purchased from the 12 shots that I had. Okay, today it's like people have an unlimited number of shots they can take. Okay, it costs them the same to take one shot as it takes 500 shots. It's just how much space do they have on their iPhone that it can handle.
It's interesting, like, I'm a photographer, and you related to that, which is a lot of times, like, I'll go to events and I'll be doing the event photography, and I'll take like one picture of something, like, and then people will be like, well, don't you want to take some more? And I'm like, I'll look at the image and I'll be like, nope, I got it.
I got it. Yeah,
So
I
I'm
got
like,
it. Yeah.
Why do I need to take more?
And back then, it's like you didn't know if you got it. Because it had to go into a lab.
But there's almost something instinctive about, like, if you're using an iPhone or whatever, to take multiple, like, because you want to make sure, like, at some future date that you didn't miss something. And I think it's, for me, it's almost like I look at the image and I'm like, everybody has their eyes open. If it doesn't matter to me, almost anything else, like, their expressions could be slightly off and like but that's what adds character. As long as like their eyes are open and kind of looking. That's the kind of the most important thing. It's like that's that window, you know, the eyes are the window into life and things like that.
Absolutely.
So the photography studio, you worked there for how many years did you do that?
So I worked there my freshman, sophomore, a little bit of my junior year of school. and then they kind of needed, it's like it was the right thing for me to go work for other people.
Okay.
And I had one job. My very first job was working as a car hop at Bobo Drive-In.
Bobo Drive.
Yeah, Bobo's is most famous for its apple pie.
Okay.
They have a secret recipe.
Is Bobo still around?
Bobo's is still around.
Okay.
I was there. I did.
Comment if you know what Bobo's is.
I did a show at Bobo's. I did a show in the Topeka area a year ago, and I made sure to stop at Bobo's for a slice of their apple pie. They had a secret recipe. It's like they protected that recipe more than they were nuclear secrets. I mean, it was top secret, and it's like, and that job helped me learn some hustle, because that was about tips, and I learned some hustle.
All right, so at this point you're about 17, 18 years old.
Well, that first time I got it, I was actually 15.
15, okay.
I was 15, and I did that and did a few other things just to, stuff in high school, and then I was supposed to go to the University of Kansas, and then the Army made a mistake. Some orders didn't get sent in, and so all of my funding for my freshman year at KU didn't work out. So I had to
Is this like GI Bill something or other?
This was an Army ROTC program.
Oh, okay.
Associated with the Army Reserve.
Okay.
That it was. I don't even know if the program called the Simultaneous Membership Program even still exists. I kind of doubt it. Anyway, my plan for University of Kansas didn't work out because I got almost no notice. So I ended up having to go to Washburn University in Topeka for my, and because I had to save a whole bunch of money, so I started off living at home, and so I went to Washburn for 4 years, and so yeah, that was 4 years at Washburn.
Wow. So 4 years. And you're still in Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened after college? Now, wait, what did you get your degree in, by the way?
Political science and journalism.
Okay. Did you think you wanted to be a journalist?
I kind of did. I ended up working on a whole bunch of political campaigns. It was everything from some obscure municipal offices all the way up to presidential.
We got birds above our head. Sorry. I'm kind of like
this could go badly.
This could go badly. I don't
have
some magic way to get rid of. I'm not wearing a hat either.
Don't worry, this is Richmond. Somebody will fire off a couple rounds and make them fly away.
Sorry, okay, so let's get back to, you can't see on camera, but we're like right below a power line, and there's literally like 30 birds directly above it.
Yeah.
Maybe my head more than your head. They might be checking the hair, checking the, but yeah.
So I did all these campaigns. Campaign manager, consultant. I ended up becoming a press secretary on Capitol Hill for a member of Congress, and then went back to doing some more campaign consulting, and then I ultimately came to the realization that I couldn't keep doing that job and keep my soul. I realized I no longer cared what happened, other than I just cared if my candidates won or lost. And I realized I kind of lost my soul, lost my way along through that process. And I ended up in IT for a while. Ended up working for a naval the Naval Research Lab as a webmaster for a little bit. Ended up going to work for a couple startups, and then there was this one .com, and I met a woman there, and you know that thing about how you should never date where you work? Well, because I do such a good job of following rules,
Okay.
that woman and I now have a mortgage, 2 kids and 2 dogs together. And we've been married 25 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So HR didn't have to get involved or anything like that.
Oh, they got involved. They got involved when at this one meeting, Leslie and I stood up and said, we got something we'd like to let you guys know about. July 2nd, we'd like to invite you all to come to Richmond because the 2 of us are going to be getting married.
Okay.
And it's like, so unlike the way things happen at Coldplay concerts, we kept our mouths shut and didn't act like we were up to something we weren't supposed to be. Okay. We just, and it's like, and everybody was shocked, and so
There you go.
so
So that you're kind of leaning towards it, but so like you're in DC, and then like what made that transition to Richmond?
so the 2 kids were about to start school, and there was the piece of knowing that here in the Richmond area, the grandma and grandpa babysitting service is headquartered here.
Okay.
Now, if you don't have kids, let me share something with you. The grandma and grandpa babysitting service, absolutely priceless, worth its weight in gold.
Right.
Okay, and so that was a big influence. What we have here as far as traffic in Richmond, that was a big influence.
Compared to DC.
Compared to
Oh, yeah.
DC Metro has the 3rd worst in the country. And it's like everything's a lot more affordable here in Richmond. One of the things I came to realize
At least for now.
is that people here in Richmond are way more chilled out and relaxed. The DC Metro, there are lots of people there who, whether by reality or delusion, believe their job is life and death consequences. That results in them being stress monsters. Stress is way more contagious than COVID ever was. And it kills more people than COVID ever will.
Well, if you get a combination, that's not good.
Yeah, just by itself. Stress, anxiety, it's like somebody's gonna drop dead today because of that. Somebody's gonna be less happy today. Somebody's gonna make bad decisions today because stress is gonna get to them. And that's a city that so many people are just overloaded with stress, and it reflects. And there's conflict. And so all those things came together. We moved down here, and this ended up being one of the best choices that we've ever made in our lives, is living here in the Richmond area. We have a home in North Chesterfield, great neighborhood.
Well, let me ask you this question. I ask people sometimes in kind of different ways, but like growing up in Kansas, and you know your family, like were you one of, are you a single, like you by are you did you have brothers and sisters?
So I had a sister. She sadly passed away when I was in my early 20s due to brain tumor. My daughter Alex, who's now 24. Alex's middle name is Darcy, for my sister, and there are some different ways they remind each other of me. Remind me of each other. Sorry.
You and your sister grew up.
Yeah, we grew up together. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you were growing up in Kansas, often like when people like start to have kids themselves, they say to themselves like, I'm going to do this differently, or I'm going to do this like my parents.
Mm.
Did you like you and your wife or talk about that or think about that, like how you were going to raise your kids differently, or how you wanted to raise your kids like your parents raised you, or was that ever something that came up, or
Oh, yeah.
something you thought about? Or
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things that I really came to understand very clearly is all the things my parents did where they got things right, how they loved us so much, and in ways that until I became a parent, I didn't really understand. I didn't understand. I couldn't comprehend what stress, worry, and pain were truly like for them, being parents, until I became a parent.
it just becomes apparent.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. I also saw some things that I knew, okay, I need to do this differently than my parents. My parents, I thought, had the perfect marriage. One of the things that they did, though, is when they had beef, when they had issues, they never talked about it. They never worked through it. They split up when I was in college. And I came to understand a big reason why they split up is that they had become professionals at sweeping stuff under the rug. And there are a number of people who probably think I go too far the other way. It's like, if there's something that's out there, we're going to deal with it. We're going to talk about it. Okay, that might mean that I have to go clean it up. It might mean somebody else needs to clean it up. But we're going to deal with it. We're not going to just pretend like it doesn't exist and sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
So
that's something like you talk with your wife about, like
absolutely,
the fact,
absolutely.
Like, was there some resistance, or is it like, did she 100% agree? Okay, yeah,
we came to a really good understanding on a lot of that stuff, really, really clearly. Leslie and I have now been married for 25 years. I don't deserve her. I don't deserve my wife, my kids, my dogs. Okay, it's like I am truly, truly blessed.
I think that's probably a good start to anyone's, not just marriage, but like kind of life.
Mm-hmm.
If you can go to the point where you're like, say, I don't deserve, and then just fill in the blank.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, dude, it's kind of reversing the entitlement mentality.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the opposite of that. It's and it's not like a downtrodden kind of like, oh,
no,
like,
it's not,
woe is me, I don't deserve. It's I am blessed. I don't deserve this blessing that I have.
Absolutely, and that's what it is.
A very different thing than like,
yeah,
kind of woe is me, blah blah blah.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
absolutely.
I think that's a healthy.
Absolutely, and it's like having an attitude that's focused on gratitude, having a mentality that's focusing on embracing the blessings that we've received, rejecting any sense of entitlement, any sense of victimhood, all those things, to me, are where you get to happiness.
Well, it's definitely hard to find happiness if you can't see anything but misery around you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
kind of like it just
absolutely.
speaks for itself.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
it's so when you made the move to Richmond,
Mm-hmm.
and then you started having kids. You say you got 3 kids?
Two kids.
Two kids and a dog. 2 kids, and they're how old are your kids now?
So my daughter is 24. She is at Michigan State University. I don't think she's mine. She's working on her PhD in neuroscience.
Okay.
Which that can't convince me that somebody who is as scary smart as she is has any of my DNA, let alone half of it. My son, who he and I definitely are related. He got in line twice when they were passing out DNA for dark sense of humor. He is a 911 dispatcher for Chesterfield County. He's been there for just over 3 years. He's 22. He's having a ton of success, fulfillment, and enjoyment of that. It has taken him from being a kid whose last 2 years of school got really blown up by the pandemic, and he finished high school as a sad, directionless individual, and is today somebody who's happy, confident, and has real purpose. Because he knows every day he goes to work, he's helping somebody out on the worst day of their life. He's handled over the phone the birth of 3 babies. He takes phone calls that just him telling me about those calls live in my head rent free. And he handles them like a champ. There was a situation which I ended up having to call the non-emergency number for Chesterfield County because of a threat somebody had made to shoot up one of my shows. And of course, that never happened. Nobody ever shot up one of my shows, but somebody did go online and make threats. And I call in, and of course, he's the one that answers the phone. That call, and it's like, and I got to see from that perspective how he handled his business as a professional. That phone call was stressful for him and me. He knew there was something going on, but we didn't think it was something that lived as close as this lived. We thought it was just some idiot who lived in his mom's basement in Iowa or something like that. And then we figured out, no, this is somebody who is right here, really close, who's got the capability of doing it. And so I got to see it from that perspective. So I got to see how he handled it. He's now training others as they come into the agency. He is moving towards a management track in there, working towards being a supervisor. And yeah, it's great to see both of them doing things that are really, really fulfilling for each of them that matter.
When you were talking about it, it reminds me. I don't know if you saw like episode 2 that I have with Katie. She grew up in a single family, but then she became like a CSI, like a crime scene investigator. And I was thinking it kind of takes that kind of, you have to have a certain personality that can detach yourself from things that are happening to be objective. And it sounds like your son has kind of like that kind of ability to detach himself from like things and be objective about it, and that's an interesting. I don't know if it's a skill or if it's like a personality trait.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think, and it's like, and one thing that's so great about the Chesterfield County 911 team is they've got fantastic leadership. Their leadership there has their people's backs.
If you like what you're watching so far, please take time to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for notifications when new episodes are uploaded.
So one of the things that I've seen my son come to really understand is that when somebody calls in and something horrible has happened, their team there has emphasized to them, you did not put them in that situation where they decided that climbing up climbing over the fence into a transformer was a good idea. Okay, you didn't make them do that. They did that. Now your job is to do everything we've taught you to do to get that person or the family member of that person all the help that we're supposed to get them. That's what you're responsible for doing. Have you gone through, have you done all the things we taught you to do? Did you pick up on all the things that were there for you to pick up and provide the system, our first responders, the information they need, whether it's fire, rescue, police? Did you do what we taught you to do? And do
One
it?
thing that it's kind of like is like I think it can be training, but it is personality somewhat, which is like the fact that like yes, you can find all these patterns and like, you know, do these things and everything you're trained, but it's like having a calmness about it. So you're the one who's like, and it's hard to tell sometimes, like if you can train someone to be calm. I mean, maybe you should know, if anything, because you're like, you know, in the hypnosis kind of thing, but like there is a large part of someone's personality that like is like higher energy and like kind of more focused energy. And it's I guess it's not like so I guess what I'm saying is it would be much harder for some personalities to do that and like fit into that whole thing.
There's no question that that is a job that isn't for everyone. There's no question. Now, for my son CJ, look, he grew up with me
I was
as
going to
a
say,
dad.
when he grew up, did
Well,
he seem like he was calm to nature?
Well, one of the things that I'm really clear on is that growing up with me as your dad, there's nothing that your callers can throw at you that you haven't seen already. Okay, so so I did see him handle a lot of different situations in ways that others typically wouldn't. And so I did see that growing up. No question about that.
That's like one of my sons. Like he was Mr. Calm. He's the one who's a F-16. He was a crew chief, and his demeanor is just always like the same. So like so like everybody else could be like, you know, freaking out, and he's just like super steady.
Yep. You can freak out after it's all done. Yeah. No question. I actually firmly believe that whatever your personality is, so long as you are still drawing breath, each and every one of us has the capability of being who we want to be. When there's somebody in our lives that does certain things and people say, oh, that's just the way he is, that's just the way she is, it's like, that's the way they want to be.
Oh, yeah. I
Okay.
definitely believe
At
that.
the end
yes.
of the day, it's like I mentioned earlier in this episode. It's like me going out and networking isn't who I am. That's a lie. Okay. I'm doing it because of things I care about, things I'm passionate about. I have to put myself out there like that.
Well, I mean, I find I've told a couple of people this, which is that a lot of what we consider as our personality kind of things are choices.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
Absolutely.
choices we make to say to ourselves, to reinforce in ourselves that we are a certain way. And we can have a tendency to use those things as crutches and say,
Yeah.
well, I'm not an outgoing person. I'm not a people person. I'm not a fill in the blank kind of,
Right.
whatever you want to say
Right.
kind of
Absolutely.
thing, And so, yeah, and I've said that literally about myself, which is before 3 years ago, I would consider myself completely introverted. I don't necessarily label myself anymore about what I am. I don't consider, I mean, I know you're kind of using it as a joke that you're lying, but like, I find myself like being adaptable to
Right.
to
Exactly.
the situation. And for me, it's a matter of it was something that I did, yes, to start to like knowing you have to provide, but it's also like, for me, it's a deeper like spiritual thing too. That like I'm called as part of like my given ministry as being a Christian. I'm a Christian, so is to not be afraid. And so whatever the fear is of like things are, I've put like up those little barriers about like, oh, I'm not this, I'm not that. Those are like just little fears that like say to me, like, okay, well, you can't do that because you're maybe afraid of like what someone will say or someone will think or someone will, how someone will treat you or how something might change. And no, I mean, like, if I truly believe what I believe and trust who I say I trust, then I can't go on like being like afraid of a bunch of stuff that doesn't exist in a way.
I'll challenge you on that a tiny bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Courage doesn't have a thing to do with not being afraid. Only a fool is not going to be afraid.
Oh, well,
okay.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll get to this here in a minute, but I should be scared to death being at this intersection right now. Okay.
Well, finish your
okay,
your
we'll
fear
come
thing
back to
first.
that.
Yeah, we'll come
but,
back
but
to that.
here's the thing, is that courage comes from knowing that I could die just feet away from here and coming, actually suggesting we come down here and do this podcast. Okay, that's what courage is about, is knowing, you know what, this might go badly. This could be the end of me.
I mean, I understand. Without going into your story, yeah. Every time I set up my podcast somewhere, on a street, near people, things like this, yes, there is that little twinkling of fear, but it's like, it's more of a reality check, kind of
Absolutely.
like I have to be aware of where I am and the surroundings and like things like that. I don't want to put myself in danger.
Right.
But then to overcome it and say, I'm called to do what I do.
Right.
Despite
exactly.
that. And like, I was yesterday, I was doing a podcast with a gentleman who was one of the Lost Boys from
Sudan.
Yep. And we were figuring out where to do the podcast, and we were looking down here in downtown, and I just like followed like where the spirit led, and it just turned out like it was a great episode. I mean, it was a great episode. And a lot of things is just overcoming, like, is somebody going to say, like, is this, can I do this? You know, can I keep on putting myself out there? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And funny thing happened. We, we, he parked at one spot, and then he got in my van. We drove to this other spot to set up.
Uh-huh.
And as we left, we had first met at this place like 2 miles from. So I started driving back to that first spot, and the whole time he's like, Matthew, you very much know the city better than I do. Like, he didn't want to say, you're going to the wrong spot. He was being really nice. And so I drove back like miles away from where his car was. But here's the opportunity, which is, and this is kind of like, it leads into it, which is that because of the fact that I drove the wrong direction, we had a conversation that went on for 20 minutes that was like very meaningful.
Yeah.
And it's like to say that, like, sometimes the accidents happen and things happen and bad things happen, but like, to not even have fear about that, that maybe because that's going to work something else out. There's an opportunity. Now, because of my faith, you know, I say, you know, God works all things for the good of those who love him. They are called according to his purpose. So, like, even when something bad happens, it's like, okay, this seems really bad, but I still trust. Well, so I'm going to lead this into, like, why are we here on this intersection of Meadow and Cary in
we're
downtown
here. Yeah.
Richmond?
So here's why. In April of 2019, I was coming down Cary Street, and I had a green light all the way through. It was about midnight, and another driver who had a drink or 7 was coming this way down Meadow at a pretty high rate of speed. Over here, it's a blind corner. I had fractions of a second, and it ended up totally destroying my car. I ended up coming away with a traumatic brain injury and PTSD. Doctors told me that I was going to be dealing with the traumatic brain injury for up to 10 years. I had 35% of my mental function that I had previously, and that I was stuck for life with the PTSD. That didn't work for me very well, because I have an absolutely incredible wife. She was able to put together for me a whole new medical team, and I went to work. I did not, it's like when this journey started, I didn't even want to keep on going. I knew that if I'm down to 35% of my mental capabilities, if I have literally lost my mind, what good am I? It's like getting out of bed wasn't something I was able to do. And it hit me pretty quickly that one of the things that my clients on the clinical side of hypnosis had taught me is those who do well are the ones who stay in the fight, show up for all their appointments, and do all their homework. And I'm not going to sit here and say that hypnosis saved my life. It didn't. What hypnosis did is it helped me start staying in the fight and then get fired up about being in the fight and then do all the things I had to do to win the fight. I ended up getting a clean bill of health in 6 months, not the 10 years.
So I just want to be
yeah.
clear. So 6 years ago, basically, you were here at this intersection. You were driving
Yep.
down this way, and another car came.
Yeah.
And like, where did it hit your?
Front ends.
So front end.
Yeah.
I think you even showed me a dash cam
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
that,
I've got the dash cam video. Yeah.
So, what kind of injuries did? I mean, you said like the mental thing, but like, did you have
So-
like, did you broken bones and things like that?
So here's one of the weirdest things that can happen to you in life is you have a physical injury that nobody can see that's absolutely devastating, a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
And everybody looks at it, oh, thank God you're okay. It's like, what do you mean I'm okay? It's like, I'm now a moron, okay? Literally, I am a moron at this point. And people are telling me, thank God I'm okay. It's like, and so that's pretty surreal experience. And
People mean well. You know, it's kind of like they're saying, well, at least your physical like body,
I
like
know-
on that.
no,
but
it-
and
so-
I understand.
So
but it's kind of like they
so
can't see
today-
what's happening.
Today, I get that. In the moment when it was an existential crisis for me then.
Yeah.
I didn't deal with that so well. Okay.
Yeah.
Full stop. Didn't deal with it. Today, I'm so thankful for that drunk driver. I have nothing but gratitude for her. Was that situation horrific? Do the looks that I got from my wife and my son, where I could tell that they were just scared to death by what they were seeing from me. Do those live in my head rent-free? You better believe they do. You know what else though? If it's not for that drunk driver, I don't make all the changes that I've made to be as happy as I am today. I'm not accomplishing all the things that I'm able to accomplish today. Instead of being stuck with a traumatic brain injury that took away all but 35% of my mental function, I'm doing things mentally that I was never capable of before. Because of the things I did to fight back, my memory is better than it's ever been before. I am doing things mentally faster than I've ever done before. I'm doing things today I never could before.
So you kind of hinted at, but I want to be clear. So like, did you have some interest in like the hypnosis thing before your accident?
Yes. So I started,
how did that all play into your career? Like,
so I started doing hypnosis professionally in 2011.
I mean, what like, did you go to see a hypnosis thing and then it sparked you? Did you watch them on TV? What was your like initial spark that like got you thinking about?
So
like,
I was told by a mentor, I was in sales, told by a mentor, go study everything you can about neuro-linguistic programming, because that's what all modern sales training is based on. I said, what is neuro-linguistic programming? He couldn't explain to me what it was. But I remembered I had a friend who had done some training in neuro-linguistic programming. I call him up, say, what exactly is this? He goes, oh, that's easy. All it is hypnotic suggestion without the formal induction into trance. I said, hypnosis? That's some Chuck Norris level badassery right there. And I went totally into the rabbit hole into hypnosis.
okay.
Okay, that was 2000.
But where do you start? Like, Online? Do you
So-
go to like
so- so what-
a
so-
magic store? I don't know.
So
Like
so this
the
journey
internet was
start-
around then.
The internet was around. So this journey starts in 2009.
Okay.
I started getting some books, reading them. They're interesting.
Books.
I
Is this
started
like
with books,
paper book?
paperback books. Yep. No, absolutely.
From the library or something?
No, I got them off of Amazon.
Amazon, okay.
Okay.
All
It
right.
was mostly a bookstore back then.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another, and I decided I started doing what we call street hypnosis.
Did you say Greek?
Street
Street. Oh, okay.
hypnosis.
I thought you said Greek.
Where I would go up to people and I would get them to agree to let me hypnotize them. I would do a rapid induction and have them do something that would either blow their minds or would be funny. And one thing led to another. It's like I thought I knew what I was doing and was good at it. And so I go out there and get certified to be a professional clinical hypnotist. And so
there is a certification.
there are
don't-
so there are a bunch of certifications. The certifications are meaningless.
Okay.
Okay.
You just have to pay, basically.
Yeah, that's basically it. Okay.
Pay to play.
Yeah. Which is like that's you got to
Are
learn.
any of them more higher echelon than others, maybe, or hold some more weight than others?
Not the certifications. No. The issue is some of the training is infinitely better than the others. Some trainers, it's just like, I'm sure it's the same way with everything you have learned to do in photography and social media. Some of the people you get training for are outstanding. Some of the people you can get training from, you really regret your business decision to do business with that human being. Okay? It's the same way.
Like, I'll never get that money back.
Yep, absolutely. I do my best to let people know who I would recommend they do business with or avoid like the plague. I do my best.
So you started the journey doing, now when you first started that journey, were you thinking you were going to use it in sales? Like, I mean, or was it almost an immediate shift this could be something else besides sales? What was it?
It was truly going into the rabbit hole, and I started to right away see the possibilities that this was bigger than.
So you almost just left the sales thing behind pretty quickly.
It wasn't that it took 2 years before I made the jump, but
Now you say made the jump. What does that mean?
meaning I was no longer selling German cars, and I had opened a practice.
Okay. What did your wife think of that?
When I sit down with her, because see, I've been doing, okay, this is the fun part. So I've been doing this street hypnosis thing on the down low for 2 years.
Okay.
Okay. My wife didn't know about it. My kids didn't know about it. And when I sat down with her and said, so I got to tell you something I've been up to for the last 2 years. And this is going to be the craziest thing you've ever heard. And I laid out my plan for starting a business, which, by the way, my very well laid business plan, nothing to do with anything that's happened since. Okay, other than starting.
It wasn't ChatGPT around, so you couldn't check it.
Nope, none of those things. But I laid everything out for her, and she's absolutely silent as I'm laying this whole thing out. And I'm nervous.
Good thing or a bad thing?
I'm nervous because Leslie's love language is interrupting. Okay.
Okay.
And so I lay out. Okay, that's all I have. And she shakes her head. She goes, "Yeah, you're right. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. And it is also all you, who you are. Here's what I'm going to do to make it possible for you. you need to go do this. And ever since then, 2011, she's been my biggest fan and my loudest heckler. Okay?
That's a good combination.
It's a great combination. It's like, it's like,
You want somebody to be your biggest cheerleader and also your sharpest critic. Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
let you know.
yeah, no. And it's like, and she's not shy. She lets me know. Um, uh, do I always listen to her? Yes. Do I always do what she thinks I ought to do? No. Okay.
So you started the practice, but then apparently you're kind of hinting that
So here's what happened on that.
Okay.
So that gets us to right here.
Right.
Okay. One of the blessings that I take away from this intersection is I am crystal clear that I am not guaranteed to see the sun come up tomorrow morning. None of us are. I didn't really appreciate that reality though. Because of that, one of the conversations I had with myself was, all that stuff I've been talking like a big man that I was going to do, that I'd just been talking about for years and years, I had two choices: do it or shut up about it. Didn't matter which one. Both were perfectly acceptable. But I couldn't keep talking and not doing. Because guess what? I didn't know if I was going to wake up tomorrow. So today I live my life like today's my last. And at some point I'll be right. In the meantime, I'm going to have a blast. So one of the things I've been talking big about is, okay, I'm going to move over to the entertainment side of hypnosis. And that was the big one where I realized I've talked about this and done zero about it for way too long.
So you moved into comedy hypnosis.
And so no, I absolutely did. And so when I got into it, everybody called what I do stage hypnosis. And stage hypnosis was really based on vaudeville era entertainment. And I came to realize that stage hypnosis shows were focused on doing stuff that has been done since 1947. There was almost no originality. And at the same time, I was really passionate about comedy. My favorite performing hypnotists were the ones who'd started out as comedians. And I realized what I loved about hypnosis shows was the comedy aspect. And so it's like, okay, I need to go back to my passion for comedy and bring that in. And so I started calling everything I do comedy hypnosis. I introduced myself as a comedian and hypnotist because I'm both. And
So-
laughter is hypnosis.
I always wondered this, and maybe other people might wonder this. Do you have to study comedy? Do you have to do you have books on it, or you're like, well, how do you do your research? Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
There is, so comedy is like painting. There's a science to it, there's a craft to it, there's an art to it. There is natural talent that might make some aspects easier for some than others. And every painter's style, every comedian's style is going to be different. Okay? I'm doing a class, I'm taking a class, I think on Monday on comedy. I took another one 2 weeks ago.
Who gets your comedy the most? So, is it teenagers, or do you kind of, are you a wide kind of audience of like adults to? I know you do some high school gigs, like where graduations and things like that.
So I
Or
will
do you
tell you,
tailor your act to your audience, kind of
I
thing?
absolutely tailor
Okay.
my act to my audience. I will tell you that those who hate what I do the most are Karens from HR and Darrens from the HOA. Okay, and because in part because I roast them, and in part because I clearly understand that my job isn't to make sure that no one is offended. My job is to fight for free speech, help people. It's like I wake up, as soon as my feet hit the floor in the morning, I'm saying, what can I do to help somebody laugh today? I'm not waking up saying, oh boy, I hope nobody gets upset about some meme that I did today. It's
Well,
like,
so we've only got a couple minutes
sure,
left.
yeah.
I know kind of maybe people like might want to know this because I think it's an interesting question, which is like, do you think when you're doing hypnosis of somebody that you're somehow controlling their will?
If I'm controlling their will, if all I had to do was hypnotize somebody to be engaged in my control, mind control, do you really think I'm sitting here at Cary and Meadow at this time of day on a Thursday? No, I'm in Aruba right now on somebody else's dime. I got supermodels rubbing oil on my back and bringing me drinks, and my wife is perfectly fine with it. No.
Well,
Hypnosis
so that, I mean, I'm just saying this is the,
here,
and you might know other questions that people like
yeah.
are asking you, like does like
Mhm.
what's a typical question that somebody would ask you
So
like
you
that?
just asked the most common
Okay,
question.
well there you go.
Okay, Lisa, I keep telling you, this is the number one question. I didn't tell him to ask this
See, look
one.
at that.
Okay. um, People want to know all the time, is hypnosis mind control? It's the opposite. It's the ultimate in self-control. My job as a hypnotist, whether I'm helping somebody break free of a smoking habit, or I'm helping somebody do something in a show that's going to bring the house down, my job is to figure out what it is they really want and give them a suggestion to make that thing their reality. That's what I do as a hypnotist, and all I do to do that is have a conversation with their subconscious mind. That's all I do. It's just a conversation.
You make it sound so like cut and dry, like, but it's like to most people are like, you're having a conversation with their subconscious. It
Yes.
doesn't make any sense to me. Like even
Yes.
saying those words doesn't really make sense to
Yes.
people because it's not something. It's too foreign a
Yes,
concept.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I think that that's kind of like, in a way, like I mean, I studied psychology way
Mm-hmm.
back when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people who
So-
study psychology and study all the different levels of
Mm-hmm.
consciousness kind of thing that you're speaking into a science.
So exactly. Let me simplify it. When somebody decides to watch a movie, whether it's in their home or at a movie theater, they're sitting down, getting comfortable, getting calm. They are focusing their eyes and they're listening on that movie. So they're focused. They are paying attention and engaging in rapid learning. Calm, focus, and rapid learning are the three pieces to entering a state of trance and having the conscious mind move into the background and the subconscious mind move into the foreground. And at
Is that what
point,
TikTok does?
yes, yes, but and then at that point,
I don't have TikTok, but you see
at
so many
that
kids
point,
with
at
it
that
looks like they're being hypnotized.
yeah, at that point, you end up accepting J.K. Rowling's suggestion to suspend disbelief, forget it's just a silly movie, and you're really hoping Harry Potter does not fall off that broomstick and die. Instead, he actually scores the winning Quidditch goal and saves the day. Completely irrational thoughts. Okay, people choose to get hypnotized by Hollywood every day. That's not mind control.
Suspension of disbelief.
No, it's getting into a state where you're calm, focused, taking in information very quickly. That puts you into a state of trance, and your subconscious mind takes over, and people are able to have conversations with your subconscious. All I do is get people into that same state that the big movie studios do, and have a conversation with them that they want to have.
So now, just if someone's interested, you know, do you still do the therapeutic side, or you all just comedy
I do the clinical side as well as the comedy hypnosis side. I do both in person / Zoom as well as electronic products on the clinical side. Both.
Thank you for being in the open
Thank you
booth.
for having me, Matthew.
Yeah. So we'll exit this way, and we'll leave the booth open for the next person.
All right.
Thank you for watching this episode of The Open Booth. Please take time to like and subscribe.